Nearly 7 in 10 customers prefer having an outdoor dining option. Also, 35% of restaurant operators with outdoor seating say it accounts for more than 40% of their daily sales. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll visit a restaurant that does late night ramen at their fire pit on their patio. We'll head over to the oldest limestone roundhouse still operating in the United States to learn about the variety of outdoor entertainment that they offer and a whole lot more. This is Aurora. Welcome to This is Aurora. My name is Danielle Tufano. I'm your host, and I'm joined this month by David Debo and Trevor Dick from the Mayor's Office of Economic Development here with the City of Aurora. And this month, summer is in full swing, and we are talking about something that is on everybody's mind, outdoor dining. And outdoor dining is something that has kind of evolved and changed over the last few years. It's been around for a while. But it really started to explode. I feel like it started to explode once the pandemic hit and things sort of shifted. Am I right in thinking that?
There's no question. It was a real sea change during and in the aftermath of the pandemic. Ironically, we had been working on a bunch of different situations, and I think we're going to speak about one of them a little bit later on with Craft Urban, where that deal was put together maybe 4 years ago. And very important in that deal was having outdoor dining.
I felt like outdoor dining maybe before the pandemic was more of a novelty, and it's turned into more of this experiential, you go in and, Trevor, maybe you can tell me, the pandemic kind of made it switch from tables and chairs being thrown together to an actual process that was put into place. Was that something that the city had something to do with, or?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Danielle. Thank you. And actually, we're all very proud that during the pandemic, the City of Aurora was one of the first communities in the region to really embrace the importance of outdoor dining. And you're right, I remember when it started in the middle of the pandemic, especially, people were putting up Home Depot or Lowe's buckets with stakes in the ground and string a rope together. And we were very flexible. Of course, at that time, we were very pro-business. We wanted our restaurants to succeed. But during that first year of the pandemic, when we did that, we started to learn from other communities, especially when we travel around the country. We really want to make sure that this starts to look good, and we want this to be more permanent. So even though it's temporary in the summer months, we want to make sure it's something that we can be proud of. So we created design guidelines, and you can find them on our city website right now. And basically, it tries to raise the standard of what it should look like, what the furniture should look like. Instead of just Home Depot buckets, they should be more attractive flower pots or fences, for example. So we've really embraced outdoor dining. We want it to look good. And I think coming out of the pandemic, the outdoor dining, not just in the downtown, but throughout the city, I think when you drive around, you'll see a lot of great outdoor spaces, very attractive.
Have you seen an increase in demand, not just from business owners and developers, but even just in general from people who are looking to dine at restaurants, wanting that experience of being able to not just dine indoors, but also outdoors? Are you seeing that increase in demand?
We are. I mean, as I think a lot of people know, there's a real flurry of new restaurants coming into the downtown, for instance, and each one of them has asked us in advance, how are we going to get outdoor dining? And it's exciting because one of them is going to be using part of a park, and one of them might be rooftop, and one of them might be right around Broadway. So we've got a lot of different options, but they always do ask, and I think that's reflective of the demand.
And Danielle, I did some research this morning. One of the statistics that I found was from the National Restaurant Association, and from their survey, they said that 7 in 10 diners are looking for restaurants with outdoor dining. So they're choosing restaurants that have that offering.
It's nice to have that that capability there. You know, one of the things as we started talking about outdoor dining, a quote that kind of stuck into my head was, if you want to be a good, successful neighborhood joint, you have to have the balance between creativity and approachability. And that quote came from Bernie, who runs Craft Urban, and we can kind of see what he had to say by watching this clip.
My name is Bernie Laskowski. I'm the chef owner of Craft Urban in Aurora, downtown Aurora on 41 South Stope Avenue. Craft Urban is a concept I created back when I was working in Chicago around 2010. I call it a cook's restaurant. Where as a chef for so many decades working for other people, you're interpreting their vision for what they want for this. This here, there's no rules. We get to cook what we want whenever we want. We get to make whatever style of cocktail we want, done in an approachable fashion, presented as a neighborhood joint. We're not glitz and glam. You're not going to get an $80 steak here or a $22 gold leaf cocktail. It's all trying to get you to want to come out of your house, have a good time, and experience something a little bit different. See, the menu at Craft Urban, you have to have a balance. You have to listen to what the community wants. A lot of the items that are on the menu are experimental, but there's also items that stay, that never come off. The staples like our buffalo cauliflower or the tempura battered cheese curds. Those are items that we've developed listening to what people were giving us feedback throughout the restaurant. And if you want to be a good, successful neighborhood joint, you have to have the balance between creativity and approachability. We've always had a great signature burger on our menu. So for Craft Urban, we work with the farm, Slagle Family Farm out of Fairbury, Illinois. So all our beef comes from there and they do a custom grind for us. Our Craft Urban burger is a tomato jam, tomatoes that we cook down, or a fancy ketchup, caramelized onions, homemade bread and butter pickles, and then a little American cheese. We moved out here in 1999, my wife and I, and we raised our family out here. Downtown Aurora, back then in 1999, there was a lot of vacant buildings. As we would adventure throughout the neighborhood here, we fell across this building back right around 2000, and I always said it would be a fabulous location for a restaurant if I ever had the opportunity. The cards lined up, and I saw the patio space here, which was just rubble and gravel, and was able to work with the city to put together our vision for what we have today. The outdoor patio was actually the key point. Outdoor dining is huge for people. In the cold weather, people want to be inside. The nice weather, people want to be outside. So being able to have the opportunity to have close to a 100-seat patio, it increases your viability as a business. And that was the key point for us to be able to settle on this location, is we wanted to turn this into a beautiful outdoor space. Being on the corner of Stolp Avenue, we're able to get so much traffic visibility that people just see the life. People just being out here breeds interest. People just want to come in and see what it's all about. And then on the weekends, we have late night happy hour and we do late night ramen with the fire pit. So it gives that nice urban feel of being outside. You got the beautiful skyline and the awesome sky above. Hey guys, we'd love to see you at Craft Urban Aurora in downtown Aurora, whether you're looking for a craft beer, awesome burger, or a great steak. We'd love to see you.
So tell me a little bit about what that process was like, seeing that pile of dirt and that rubble there, and Bernie kind of walking through the neighborhood and being able to eyeball that corner of Stolp and Downer and saying, that's where I want my business. And him identifying it first, and I'm sure that it was a process that you guys had to go through that with him.
Yeah, it was some process, and I have to say, just watching that it so much warms our heart. It really does, because we were there before Bernie, a roofing company wanted to buy it, and we said no, we just want something else. And Bernie came along, and there were two different transactions in terms of the building and then the land. And Bernie had this vision. There was a building there, and the developer had owned it, couldn't make the math work, decided just to knock the building down, just a rubble. And Bernie saw what it could be. And I think he makes a great point just about the economics. People don't realize, as successful as Bernie is, there's a lot of restaurants around the country that have not been able to make it. And anything you could do to add revenue is really important now. So this is just an important thing for any business, but especially for a business like Craft Urban.
And even, Trevor, with that being such a high traffic intersection, people that maybe didn't know Craft Urban was right there, you see the outdoor dining and such a beautiful patio there, and it almost serves as a billboard to everything else that they have to offer.
You're exactly right, Danielle, and it just like you said, it is a real billboard for not just that business, but for downtown Aurora. And if you've been here, especially on a nice summer night, and walk around and see people dining, you can hear the excitement, the music. It's just a fantastic show of what's going on in downtown Aurora right now. And I think another thing Bernie gets it so much that not only did he do the outdoor dining, which increases his capacity, allows more customers, quicker turnover, but the original plan for Craft Urban on the upstairs was supposed to be 2 apartments. Halfway through the construction process, and this is in the middle of COVID as well, Bernie realized, you know what, instead of 2 apartments upstairs, I could have more seating and increase my capacity of customers, and that's what he did. And if you've been to Craft Urban and seen the upstairs, it's also a very popular party room, so he has the ability now to have private events. And so he really gets it, and the outdoor dining at Craft Urban is just a great example of how important it can be.
There's so much going on in Aurora. Last month on this show, we talked about entertainment, and we have the Full Monty, which is getting ready to launch the Broadway series at Paramount Theater. We have Peter and the Starcatcher, the Bold series at Copley Theater. We just launched $1 Million Quartet at Stope Island Theater, which is doing great. And people, when they leave their house, they want to have an experience. So they want to do dinner and a show. And so having these options where if I want to do outdoor dining or indoor dining and having these choices it's a plus for Aurora, right?
No, yeah. I mean, Paramount's done all the statistics, and more than half the people are going to eat before or after the show. So you want them to stay in Aurora. And years back, we didn't have as many options. Now we have a lot of options, and people are staying and coming, and it's feeding, and that's why we need more and more restaurants downtown.
And I think to your idea, I don't mean to cut you off, Danielle, but you said about experiential. I think when I go to outdoor dining, not just in Aurora, but in other places, you can have a lot more, it's hard to explain, but it's almost like you can have more fun and be more carefree on an outdoor patio. There's music, sometimes there's bands, special drinks, special menu might even be on the patio. So you can make even in a successful restaurant, a brand new separate experience.
Yeah, and I feel like it's one of those things too that, as people experience these restaurants and outdoor dining options, just on the economy, the impact that it has on the Aurora economy is positive as well. Can you guys touch on that?
Sure. So the city is a home rule city, gets about 4% in terms of sales taxes and food and beverage taxes. So the higher the volume, I will say without disclosing any confidence, is that Craft Urban is doing almost twice the business that was projected. So that means that the city is getting more than twice the revenue that we had expected. So these things are win-win outcomes, and the outdoors really makes a difference in terms of the volume.
I'll quote my National Restaurant Association one more time because it was such another great statistic. But they were saying that almost half of their restaurants get 40% of their sales from outdoor dining. So it just shows you how important it is for a business to have that opportunity as well.
And we in the Midwest love to be outside, right? Because we don't get outside enough. So when you have this opportunity, you're outside. I've been in Bernie's place where late fall and people are bundled up, but they still want to be there. And he's got a fire pit. He's got the fire pit.
Our winters are so cold here that it's when we have an opportunity to be outside, we want to be outside.
That's it.
We talked a little bit about outdoor dining being a great billboard for what a restaurant is in general. And one of the greatest billboards that we have in Aurora is Two Brothers Roundhouse. We had an opportunity to speak with Jim from Two Brothers, and here's what he had to say.
My name is Jim Olson, and I'm the general manager of the Two Brothers Roundhouse in Aurora, Illinois. Yeah, it's the oldest limestone roundhouse still operating in the United States. It was built in 1856. Now is Two Brothers Roundhouse. Originally, Walter Payton owned it back in the 90s. So there is a main bar and main hall area where we seat, and there's a patio where we seat people. There is a cafe on site for Two Brothers Coffees. There's a distillery on site. There's a 300-person banquet facility on the other end with 2 more party rooms upstairs. Music is live every weekend, rain or shine. We have an indoor bar that we can put in live music also, especially in the wintertime. It's an excellent menu. It's very American fare. You can almost say it's supper club in one respect. Great selection, sandwiches, and we go up to full entrees, and we feature prime rib on Fridays and Saturday nights. We distill on site. We do bourbons, vodkas, gins, and special brews once or twice a year. Well, the kind of events we run here are a wide gamut. Of course, banquets and weddings are just huge. We do live music on that stage, the gazebo, on every Friday and Saturday night. There's nothing like having a concert here in the summertime. Really, nowhere in the western suburbs do you see something like this. And we have also special events too. We're working with local communities. I think Aurora's coming up. It's really starting to move in the right direction. Downtown is starting to really perk up. There's a lot of things going on downtown. We draw off of that, and we just always welcome new businesses coming in, because more people come down here, the better it is for the whole community. I urge everybody to come out to the Two Brothers Roundhouse. It's an excellent outdoor entertainment facility. We got spirits, we got beer, we got outdoor events. It's a great place. It's a hidden gem in Aurora.
Two Brothers Roundhouse, I officiated my first wedding there.
Ooh.
And it was Aurora fireman. And then I didn't marry, I officiated his brother's wedding, and he's an Aurora police officer.
Well,
so I
still
keep
married?
it like every wedding that I've officiated, I think there's been like 15 of them. Everybody is still married.
Wow.
I know, so I think I'm a good luck charm.
Yeah.
So it's just one of the many things that happens at Two Brothers Roundhouse. There's the events, and there's the banquet facility, and there's comedy that happens there, and there's the cafe, and so many things that people might not even realize. And the outdoor space is just amazing with so many things that they do there. And one thing that Two Brothers is great with is everybody that works there. There's so many employment opportunities. And I think even adding outdoor dining, that's a whole other aspect to it, is employment opportunities, right?
Yep, you're so right. Yeah, they just think of it, the additional outdoor space, more customers, you need more staffing, more waitresses, waiters, cooks, you name it. It's just awesome. And especially in the summer months, that even means more seasonal employees. So maybe students that are back from college, for example, it gives them even more opportunities to work in Aurora.
I think Jim mentioned something kind of interesting in that video, that when one business shines, it gives the business community in general an opportunity to shine. Do you guys notice that a lot of people working together? It's not necessarily competition of this versus that.
No, I mean, to an incredible degree. And we have a very specific example. I think, as you know, the people who started the Graceful Ordinary in St. Charles are coming with a new concept here in Aurora. Bernie knew that we were speaking to them. So rather than being concerned, he called them. He sold Aurora to them. He explained how well he's doing and the need and so on. And you're right, because when people come, they may not know exactly what restaurant they're going. They just want to come downtown. They want to walk around. And having more restaurants. But Bernie, again, being an urbanite, understands that. And people do that in this town. It's incredible.
And I wanted to talk about Graceful Ordinary for picking that building on Broadway Avenue. Part of the reason, well, first of all, they fell in love with that building because it's historic and it's awesome, and wait till you see what they do with the inside of this building. But also I would say that it's against a park we have commonly referred to as Skinny Park, which it's right against. And they saw right away an opportunity to do outdoor dining along that building that connects to the Water Street Mall. And if you've been to the Water Street Mall in Aurora, that's been a long vision of the city to actually have outdoor dining and events and really capitalize on that space. And this will be a direct connection to that awesome space.
Be right there, and then that Tangled Roots right around the corner. And there's another restaurant we're working on, not announced yet, that if it works out, we'll have a rooftop as well, all within, a couple of feet of each other.
That kind of brought me, you guys are almost answering my next question of like a plan in general for downtown. It seems like there's so many things in the works already, from rooftop outdoor dining to Water Street Mall to Skinny Park. It just seems like there's so many things in the works. La Quinta is expanding their patio, which is just going to be amazing.
And actually, they believe that their business will go up at least a third by having that outdoor dining, because they won't have to trade off between, I could take this banquet, but I can't do this. So they're able to do everything at the same time. But no, there's a lot of things going on. Chris Kindle Market. There's so many things going on, and it's feeding off each other. And yet, there's so much opportunity here. It's so exciting because this is a city of what if, and it's happening right now.
And about La Quinta, David, that one's a really exciting project. The city invested in that. And instead of just a typical outdoor dining facility. It's going to have a roof that can close and open depending on the weather. So it's essentially going to be an all season room, basically. So it's going to be super exciting.
That's
and that
great.
should open soon.
That's great. So we just touched on the surface when it comes to outdoor dining in Aurora. There's so many other opportunities. What are some other examples of great outdoor dining? I off the top of my head, I'm thinking there's O'Malley's and there's McBride's. What are some others that you can think of?
Oh, certainly Piazza is.
Piazza, what an amazing complex outdoors.
That's not just outdoor dining. I mean, they have
Sand volleyball.
concerts.
Great concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an amazing complex right there by the mall. And then with the development happening at the mall, even more people living there, I think that's even going to get more and more popular, which is great for that business because they've recently renovated. If you've been there in the last year, they've put a lot more money into their equipment, a lot more new TV technology. It's really, really exciting. And I've seen a couple concerts there recently, and it's just fantastic sound.
Spartan House has some nice outdoor dining. Yeah.
And you mentioned McBride's. My wife and I, my kids like to go there. My kids love the fake, well, they're not fake, but they have palm trees they bring in. And so it's kind of a neat little tropical feel right there at McBride's on Eola.
Hop Vine Brewing Company is right over by the mall. They're locally owned. The owners over there are great. There's so many opportunities and so many more to come. I think that's great. Speaking of more to come, let's just say if somebody wanted to bring their business to Aurora, the process might seem overwhelming. Like, where do I even start? Is there a process that somebody goes through to A, to bring the restaurant, and B, to talk about that outdoor dining or open an outdoor dining facility?
Well, Trevor, it's a streamlined process, and Trevor did a lot of work to make it easy. We've dealt with other cities, and it's hard. There's a lot of difficult licensing, a lot of fees, a lot of bureaucracy. Trevor, just explain how simple it is here.
Thank you. Yeah, streamlined is a great word for it. So during the pandemic, the restaurants that had their own outdoor space already, it was pretty easy for them. But those that didn't, if they were landlocked or if they were beside a parking lot in a strip center, we wanted to make it really easy where they could apply to the city to actually use city right away to do outdoor dining. And that's something that started in the pandemic. David's right, we've streamlined the process. It's very easy. Go to the city's website. You'll be able to find the application. We treat it as a special event permit. And so all the department heads review it quickly. And we want businesses to get this up quickly. So we generally approve it really quickly, or we have questions to get to the answer of yes. And we're very proud of that. And we want all the restaurants in the entire city to take opportunities to have outdoor dining because we know how important it can be.
And obviously, I know people like to dine with their kids all the time. What about people dining with their pets? Is that possible in Aurora?
The City of Aurora doesn't have any ordinances in place where they don't allow dogs or pets on the patio. But I would suggest that you call the restaurant in advance to make sure they allow it. But I've been to a lot of patios in Aurora where there's been some great dogs.
That's great. Some great
Well-fed dogs.
Well-fed
dogs. Yeah.
Any last words for this episode of This is Aurora as far as outdoor dining in Aurora?
I know I have to keep coming back to this show because every time I'm here, I get even more excited about what's going on. So, no, it's just great. And thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
All right. And thank you.